Fong Liang watched everyone start the meeting, confused. The prison chicken, with its fat body, blocked everyone's view. It said in surprise, "What? Did the master not bring anyone with him?" Tiandong seemed dissatisfied. "Are we just handing him over like this?" Chang'an pointed to himself and asked Hanju, "Me? Take disciples?" Hanju explained, "I still need to cultivate, but Zun Chang'an is different." He looked at Chang'an seriously and said, "Chang'an, your physique is like passive cultivation. You can improve at any time without even cultivating. You're the best choice to take in disciples, and it won't delay your cultivation." Chang'an still hesitated. This matter. Tiandong angrily shouted at Chang'an, "Are you worried that your disciple won't catch up to your cultivation, just like Morong Chi, who didn't dare take disciples because he was afraid of losing face?" He lowered his head and proactively recommended himself to Hanju. "How about this, master? If Chang'an refuses to take disciples, let me do it." Chang'an poured cold water from behind. "Stop daydreaming." Hanju gave Tiandong a bullet-like stare and mercilessly scolded him, "If you're allowed to take disciples, you'll probably end up having to be adopted by another demon king." Upon hearing this, Tiandong's face turned gray, and his expression lost its naturalness. Fong Liang widened his eyes in surprise and asked, did he agree to take me as a disciple?" Tiandong put his hand on Chang'an's shoulder and solemnly introduced the child. "He's a bit worried, but he's not bad-hearted. A good man is hard to find, and his teaching skills are nothing to worry about." Upon hearing these empty words, Chang'an's face darkened, and he gritted his teeth and said, "Tiandong, can you leave?" The child raised his hand to cover his mouth, and with the other hand pointed in Hanju's direction. The child said in confusion, I thought the token given by Elder God Slayer meant he wanted to take disciples." Hanju also admitted that this was indeed the intention. He looked at Fong Liang very seriously and said, "According to your current cultivation, if you have questions, everyone can answer them. When your cultivation improves and they can't, I will personally teach you. After all, taking disciples within the same sect is no different." The child understood Hanju's words and quickly agreed. Fong Liang said firmly, "Okay." The child knelt before Chang and put his hands together and said to the child, "Fong Liang, from now on, you will be my second disciple." Fong Liang respectfully responded, "Yes, master." They began to get to know each other and relax. Chang'an reminded Fong Liang, "From now on, if you don't understand anything, you can ask your senior brother. He knows more than I do." Tiandong smiled and said, "You can also ask your senior uncle." The child agreed. Rongqi mocked Tiandong, "You teach him to become an adopted son?" Hanju watched them chat amiably and thought to himself, "In the blink of an eye, I already have this many disciples." Speaking of the eldest disciple, Tiandong is from the demon saint bloodline. The second disciple Su Chi is a reincarnation of a heavenly realm figure. The third disciple, Zun Chang'an, is a reincarnation of an ancient spiritual ginseng from the upper world, the great ancestor. Morong Chi is a reincarnation of the god of war from the divine palace, with the title of true god emperor, the second ancestor. Fong Liang is the child of heaven and earth, a reincarnation of the black prison chicken, originally a black-eyed phoenix. The chaos celestial dog is a divine beast of fate, and the only female figure is the heavenly grass, capable of becoming an immortal god. Hanju smiled, feeling full of fortune. The future can wait. He thought, I'll wait for them to grow before ascending, or let them ascend to the heavenly realm first, and then support me. Hanju stood in the sunset, snorting coldly, what am I thinking? Waiting for them to cultivate and ascend, I don't even know how long it will take. Perhaps He shouted, Chang'an, teach him the Yuqing formula and have him first cultivate to the golden core stage. Don't let him leave the mountain. Chang'an lowered his head and respectfully replied, yes, master. Fong Liang joyfully shouted, can I still leave the sect now? Rongqi also spoke up, don't worry, you're almost at the golden core stage. A few years later, the ceremony continued. The 9 Cauldrons' true monarch returned and held a ceremony for the transfer of authority. The elder stroked his beard, his demeanor full of grandeur. Everyone discussed in excitement, wow. Yu-Er was walking toward the center, shouting, Master. Senior brother. I'm back. Kong Zi was talking to the 9 Cauldrons' true monarch, Ancestor, you're finally back. How was life at the overseas sect? He snorted coldly, overseas isn't easy. Yu-Er looked around, then exclaimed, where is everyone? She asked Kong Zi, elderly. Is my master not here? He answered in surprise, she Quan immortal, she must be in closed-door cultivation recently, in Elder Han's cave. Yu-Er thought fearfully, she Quan immortal is in Elder Han's cave. She was also silently screaming, it's over. It's over. I calculated everything, but I forgot about Master. The scene of Hanju and Master being intimate appeared in her mind. Yu-Er hurriedly said, Junior brother is cold to everyone, but always shows a smile to Master. He even rejected Hong Quan, MISU, and me before. It turns out it's because he likes Master. She shouted loudly, Qing Zi. He looked at her in surprise, and Yu-Er continued, when did my junior brother go to Master? Qing Zi appeared confused and said, it was before morning. Why? Is there something urgent? He continued, if it's urgent, I happen to have some luggage and a package to deliver. I can drop you off on the way. Yu-Er was shocked and said, luggage? Are you planning to stay at junior brother's place? Qing Zi confirmed, yes. The package has the seller's promise, delivered secretly. He revealed, I stayed in Elder Han's cave not long ago. Yu-Er's eyes lit up when she heard this, thinking to herself, are both men there? Then there's no big problem. Then she asked in confusion, do you open a cave like that too, Master? Qing Zi coldly replied, yes. What's the problem? Yu-Er, slightly panicked, explained, no, I was just asking. Wu Gang, who was nearby, immediately questioned, senior brother. Why did you buy a doll? Qing Zi stammered. In surprise, what do you mean you know? Yu-Er secretly laughed and thought, what's this? Looks like I overthought it. Junior brother isn't so easily moved. How embarrassing. I've been worrying for nothing. She thought to herself that junior brother and the master had a good relationship, and it made sense that they would respond to each other, together. Suddenly, she thought of the scene where Hanju and Qing Zi took a bath together, and she muttered to herself. Wait. With junior brother's personality, he wouldn't allow anyone to touch his spiritual energy, unless. Upon thinking this, Yu-Er furrowed her brows, nervously thinking, no, this is a bigger problem. A voice came from in front of a white mountain, long time no see, junior brother. Hanju broke into a cold sweat and said, it's obvious that your life overseas hasn't been easy. Your cultivation has been stuck at the 9th level of the Golden Core for quite some time, right? Yu-Er immediately interrupted him, saying, don't bring it up. When it comes to promotion speed, how can I compare to junior brother? Hanju avoided the topic, you flatter me. Let's sit down and talk. Yu-Er didn't let him off, saying, answer me one question first. She said with an expressionless face, Master has spent his whole life cultivating, rarely appearing with others. He should never leave. Yu Peak. Junior brother. How did you convince Master to come? Was it Master's will, or do you not care about Master at all? Hanju was left speechless upon hearing these words, and he could only blurt out, huh? After Hanju explained, Yu-Er finally put her doubts to rest. She suddenly realized, so that's how it is. Are the other caves the same? Hanju replied, something like that. Yu-Er laughed loudly, the spiritual energy here isn't as strong as before. Master is lucky to have you. To transform into a god. Hanju calmly said, the sect master's time is running out. Arranging a cave for him is just to buy a bit of time. He thought to himself, I'll slowly tell her about Hong Quan later. At this point, Yu-Er lowered her head and sighed, it seems that junior brother's choice might be right. Cultivating diligently seems safer. Hanju asked, why do you say that? Did you practice overseas? Yu revealed some information, that's right. The cost of this cultivation has been too high. There were over 500 of us when we set out, and now only a little more than 60 have returned. The overseas sects aren't as stable as expected, and their enemies are more cunning than the cultivators of Dian. As for the so-called opportunities, don't even mention it. Hanju couldn't help but ask, what about senior sister? Yu comforted him, it's fine. I've been in seclusion in the sect. And I'm doing okay. It's just that some of the senior brothers who went out for cultivation have unfortunately been injured. Upon hearing this, Hanju furrowed his brows, thinking, thankfully, I didn't follow the patriarch out. If I had gone overseas, I would have been constantly in trouble, and my cultivation wouldn't be as high as it is now. Their conversation continued. Yu was filled with questions in her heart. So many sacrifices for cultivation, what's the meaning of it? What is cultivation really for? I suddenly feel a little lost. Hanju replied, in the end, it's for survival. To live is not wrong. It's always been two paths. Once you step into cultivation, your fate is set by the heavens. Yu continued, even so, after cultivating overseas for so long, I feel like I haven't made any progress. These years really feel like a waste. Hanju praised and comforted her, senior sister's talent is actually very good. You shouldn't have been stuck at the golden core stage for so long. Could it be that your cultivation isn't pure enough? Yu asked him, what do you mean? After talking for a long time, Elder Han finally spoke, Elder Han, the patriarch has returned today, and the banquet is ready at the Tuasha building. I wonder if it's convenient for you to appear. Hanju leaned on the table and replied, just once, I was planning to reminisce with the patriarch. Yu said. Unhappily, senior brother, really, we haven't finished talking yet. Kongzi just stood there, sneaking a laugh. He suddenly spoke up, I just remembered, Master isn't at Yue Peak, senior sister doesn't need to go there. It's fine if you just come here. Hanju frowned and said, how about you also move here to cultivate? It would work well with Master, what do you think? Yu was stunned when she heard this and couldn't say anything, stammering, this matter. Hanju didn't wait for her to continue, then senior sister, go back with senior brother Chang to pack, and I'll get your cave ready. Yu immediately agreed, okay. He asked her, it's getting late, aren't you going to pay respects to Master? She hurriedly said, I forgot. Yu laughed joyfully, it's good that Master is fine. The scene shifts to a place filled with dead bodies. Suchi walked to a spot, panting heavily. He turned around and said, Dooku, Senior. Although I'm very grateful for your help along the way, you're already at the crossing tribulation realm. Why haven't you ascended yet? A person on a high platform spoke, the demon-slaying sect has been destroyed, and I feel regret. If I were to ascend, I would inevitably face a calamity of the heart demons. Suchi asked in confusion, no way? Dooku, in a tattered state, said, boy. Why don't you take me as your master and help me get rid of the obsession in my heart? It would also leave a spark for the demon-slaying sect. Suchi's face darkened as he thought, this guy still hasn't given up. Without thinking much, he immediately suggested, Senior. I already have a master. If you're eager to take a disciple, I could help you find one on the way. Dooku said in disappointment, sigh. If you don't agree, forget it, I won't force you. Suchi immediately interjected, but this is the 27th time this month you've asked to take me as your disciple. He suddenly said, Suchi, hide behind me. The boy asked in surprise, huh? What's going on? There was no time to explain, and Dooku hurriedly responded, Ball Demon, you've been eyeing my disciple for so long, what exactly is your intention? The Ball Demon coldly replied, your disciple, I remember that kid is the Demon Lord's disciple. He was surprised and said, the Demon Lord. No wonder you've always disagreed with me. It turns out this kid's master has such a background. Suchi was also surprised and thought, huh? When did I become the Demon Lord's disciple? He threatened Dooku, if you want to ascend, then let go. I need to take this kid away. Suchi directly asked the ball demon, why are you looking for me? Did the Demon Lord send you to pick me up? He coldly said, not exactly, but I can guarantee you a great opportunity. Dooku's face darkened as he thought, agreeing is not an option, rejecting is not an option. The ball demon has been famous for many years, and his cultivation is at least at the Great Ascension stage. There's no way to match him. At this moment, Suchi spoke up, Senior, you should leave. He was surprised and said, Suchi, I. The boy didn't listen to the explanation, thank you for your care during this time, but I don't want to put you in a difficult position. Suchi coldly said, Dooku, if you really want to resolve the demon-slaying sect's grudge, then go serve the Yuling sect for a while. After I leave Yuling sect, I'll join the demon-slaying sect. Yuling sect is my hometown. Looking at the token in his hand, Dooku couldn't believe it, you. He coldly said, what else do you want? The ball demon was filled with rage, what kind of logic is this? How is resolving a grudge related to serving others? Suchi impatiently replied, isn't there enough disciples for you to take at the entire Yuling sect? Kwama heard the conversation between the two, and his heart was filled with surprise. Huh? Yuling sect. He thought, the shooting master who killed my master seems to be from Yuling sect. Is this a coincidence? Suchi shouted loudly, how many misfortunes have we encountered on the way? Can't you count them in your heart? Do. Ku also responded unwillingly, hey. No, I just think these small things, you wouldn't think it's me causing trouble. Right? Suchi said unhappily, I don't even know where I went. We're about the same, maybe it's better to separate. Suchi continued, Senior Dooku, don't forget you're about to ascend, I don't want to bring more trouble to you. He suddenly changed his tone. I don't care. Suchi said seriously, to be honest, although we haven't spent much time together, I will never forget you for my whole life. At this point, Suchi lowered his gaze, his eyes filled with sadness, apart from my master, you're the person who has been with me the longest. Although we encountered many misfortunes, your mindset has always been good. If we go back to Yuling sect together, Master will definitely thank you for your help in ascending. But now, I'm afraid you'll have to visit Yuling sect alone. Dooku, confused, interjected, wait. Isn't your master the Demon Lord? Suchi waved his hand, just in name. My real master is the God Slayer Elder of Yuling sect. That person is extremely powerful. Even after traveling for many years, he has never encountered someone with a similar aura to my master. He was surprised. Really? That's worth paying respects to. Suchi confirmed again, then reminded, by the way, remember to greet him from a distance when we reach the entrance, or he might mistake it for an ambush. Don't worry, Senior. Just mention your name, and my master won't make things difficult for you. Do. Ku responded softly, all right. He walked but didn't forget to turn back to Suchi and say, then I'll send my regards to the God Slayer Elder on your behalf. Suchi waved his hand in response, thank you. Suchi then turned to Kwama and asked, Senior Kwama, right? Please lead me. Suchi's gaze was determined as he looked straight at him, and he said confidently, this is Kwama. Kwama was sweating profusely, thinking, why do I suddenly feel a chill? The waves crashed violently against the rocks. A towering mountain peak appeared in the rugged terrain. Zhou Fan spoke, this is the ancestral land of the three major sects nearby. In the scene, Zhou Fan, Mo Fujio, and Xian Shishir were walking through a dim canyon with huge ships behind them. Zhou Fan continued, but now it seems, there's nothing special. Mo Fujio, sitting beside him, couldn't help but ask, isn't it bad for us to sneak in like this? Zhou Fan casually replied, what's wrong with that? Seeking fortuitous encounters is the most basic cultivation for us cultivators. A bloody skull appeared in front of them. There were two other terrifying-looking skulls nearby. Xian Shishir trembled when she saw this. This place is full of weird things. It's better to be cautious.